Today, I will be explaining to you how to make the traditional dessert for Chinese New Year. My family and I make this dessert every year to celebrate the holiday. Its name is Nian Gao, and it translates out to sticky rice cake. Nian Gao is an easy dessert to make in 3 steps. The first step is to gather your cooking utensils and measure your ingredients. The second step is to mix those ingredients. The last step is to cook the mixture by steaming it. I will explain how to do each one of these steps and then show you what the final product should look like. As stated earlier, Nian Gao is simple to make as it only requires 6 ingredients. Some other items that you will need to help you make this are a 9-inch pie pan or a 9-inch cheesecake pan. For my case, I will be using a cheesecake pan. You will also need some measuring cups, a steamer rack with a cover, a large bowl, and a large pot. Your first and primary ingredient to make this sticky rice cake with is the glutinous rice flour. You will need about a pound of this. You will also need some sugar, about a cup and a half of it, and you will also need a cup and a half of dark brown sugar to give it its traditional look. Next, you need to add some water to it to start forming the dough, which you will need about a cup and a half of water. In addition to the water, you will also need 2 tablespoons of a mild flavored oil, such as vegetable or canola. In my case, I will be using a light flavored olive oil. To give the cake some flavor, add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract to it. The next step to make this dessert is to blend the ingredients. This can either be done by hand or the use of a KitchenAid. In my case, I will be using a KitchenAid. And if you're using a KitchenAid, like what I'm using, use the flat beater accessory for mixing. As stated earlier, the glutinous rice flour is the primary ingredient, so put that into the large bowl first. Afterwards, add your dry ingredients, which will be your dark brown sugar and your granulated sugar. You blend these until they seem well mixed, and then you put your cup and a half of water to start the dough forming process. After the dough is well mixed with no lumps and a smooth texture on top, add your vanilla extract and your oil to it. You continue to mix it until it is well blended. Then you take your pan and you add oil to it to coat the bottom of it so your mixture does not stick to it. Afterwards, when the dough is well mixed, pour it into its pan and set it into its steamer. The final step is to cook this dough, and we're going to do it by steaming it. Fill a large pot similar to this one, about half to 3/4 full of water, and set it on the stove and turn it on so the water will begin to boil. Once the water begins to boil, take your steamer, such as this bamboo one, which you have already placed the pan in, and set it on top of the pot so it will begin to steam. The steam trapped inside the steamer will allow your dough to cook. Set a timer for about 90 minutes. After the 90 minutes are up, wait about 30 minutes before removing the pan from the steamer. After you remove the pan from the steamer, cover the pan with saran wrap and place this covered pan now into the refrigerator to allow the dough to sit and to harden for about 2 to 3 days. As stated earlier, this is what the finished product should look like. I have garnished the top with sesame seeds because that is my preference. To sum it up, Nian Gao is very easy to make, and it can be done so in 3 steps. The first step, you gather your ingredients and cooking utensils. Secondly, you mix your ingredients. Lastly, you steam the dough to cook it. If you're ever feeling adventurous, follow these 3 easy steps and you should be able to make this Oriental dessert. And if you're having some weekend guests over, you could start making this dessert early and serve it to them on the weekend. It's a dish that is surely to impress.